So the objective of this entire video is to have an entire PC donated in parts and assemble that PC and then give it away. My thoughts are I'm either going to give it to a nonprofit. There's one that I used to work at that I was involved heavily in the gaming department. I kind of ran it for them. I might reach out to them. I might look for a charity. I'm going to kind of do my research. I might even put it up on my local Facebook marketplace for free. The objective is to kind of give it away as like a Christmas gift. So I might list it on there for like 24 to 48 hours and let people reach out to me and, kind of hear some of the stories. And so again, the entire thing we're trying to get donated for free. I recognize I may not be able to get something like a graphics card or a processor for free just because those are really expensive. However, I was notified my friend is potentially interested in buying the computer I built. So if you go check out the last video, I'll show you here. It's this sweet all white build. Anyway, I built this thing for about $900 total. So I'm probably gonna sell him that, and he said that I could potentially have some of his old parts. His motherboard and probably the CPU, I have to look at it, are outdated, so they won't upgrade with Windows 11. But there's a strong chance that we could potentially use the case, some of the fans, the power supply. So we're gonna take a look at that, and then from there, we're gonna try and just get some parts and assemble this thing and get it together before Christmas. Today is November, I think it's like November 13th or something like that. So we've got about a month and kind of a half before we need to get this up and running. So ideally we'll get the parts in the next 3 weeks. The thing that I'm running into, or that I expect to run into, is one, people don't want to give their stuff up for free because they're selling it and trying to get something themselves. The other thing is people don't know if I'm just trying to scam them and just get free PC parts. So, and that's completely understandable and realistic because why would you not be concerned about that? So those are some of the challenges, but if this video goes up, I'm going to try to put it up regardless of whether it succeeds or fails. And if I cannot get all the parts donated, like I said, I might chip in some money myself and just build it and give it away. We are at a spot where I put up a posting where I've listed that I am looking for free parts to put this PC together, and we've had a decent amount of response. But the thing that we're going to do right now, maybe so we've had a few offers from people to give me free things to build towards this PC, and right now, hopefully this guy actually shows up. We'll have to see. We had someone offer a free all-in-one cooler, so that's where I'm heading right now. But I'd like to use this channel, one, to build PCs because I like that, and I may do other stuff in the future, but right now we're just going to do computers. And also, I like giving stuff away. So, if the videos do well and it performs and I only have to spend a little bit of money, it's not a big deal. Also, quick shout out to the sponsor of the video, Sanford Business Experts. It's a company that I own. If you need any recruiting help, whether you're in construction, manufacturing, software development, whatever it might be, I'll leave a link to that in the description below. I'd like to get this thing started, the build up on it within the next week or two. So today is November 29th, just because I would like a week in advance to troubleshoot and problem solve anything that could happen. Because if you haven't built a computer before, things may not work. They just may not work. And because of that, if something's not working, it doesn't do what I need it to do, I would rather have some time to, get the parts in, fix it. Because ideally what I want to do is put this up on Facebook Marketplace by December 18th to 20th, somewhere in there. Maybe the 18th is what I'll do. I want to put it up for 48 hours. And then the goal is to give it away to someone before Christmas, the day of or the next day that's done, so they can give it away to a kid, so they can have it. But that's the goal. Is I need time to troubleshoot that. I'm a little nervous because this guy and I had a conversation. So today is Saturday. We had a conversation Wednesday before Thanksgiving that, hey, I'm going to pick this up. I really appreciate it. You've been awesome.
and we haven't talked since then. And I reached out to him this morning, and he hasn't responded. So I'm not certain that he's going to be there or show up. But anyway, that's where we're at right now. So, you know, we're in the process of trying to get this thing built, put together. It's going to be really cool being able to give it away. I know for me, growing up, I loved gaming. I still do. I just don't get to play it as much because I have, you know, a wife, a daughter, a business. We have a son coming on the way. So life has just been a little more chaotic than it once was. So yeah, I'm just excited because I know that someone out there, you know, whether it's a kid or a young adult, maybe they need it for school, or maybe, you know, it is just a kid that you know, in a home that can't afford a computer, can't afford a gaming computer, and even if they just get to play Fortnite or something that they wouldn't have access to on like maybe a phone. You know, that's just cool because I grew up with that. I have a lot of memories of gaming with other people and making friends through that. Big shout out to Caleb. He showed up, and man, he came with a pretty sweet cooler. Pure Loop 2 all-in-one 280 millimeter. Basically what happened was he was building a micro ATX case. I guess maybe he didn't like look up the specs on this thing, but it didn't fit. And he tried to sell it for a while, couldn't get rid of it. So he's just like, here, you can have it. So this is gonna be way more than what we need on this type of PC. I mean, we're literally looking to build something that, like I said, can run Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft. I mean, maybe some 1080p low of some of the newer stuff, maybe. But this is really sweet. You know, this is what's inside the box. You can tell that if you look at where it actually attaches to the CPU, he did not use this thing. It's clean. I mean, it's got some dust on it, but outside of that, like, it has no sign of wear and tear. So again, huge shout out. He was an awesome guy. I really appreciate it. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited. I don't know if I'm going to record like whenever I actually give it to whoever's getting this, just because I don't want to make a family feel uncomfortable or anything like that. But if they're open to it, I will gladly, you know, say, hey, I'd love to record you guys. Would you, you know, maybe like to say a few words to all the people that gave you the components. Yeah, super excited. We're on the path. Let's go. So some quick updates. The last thing I recorded was on November 29th. Today is December 7th. We've acquired a lot of new parts and had some wild things happen. So because we're getting so close and like things are really hectic trying to order things, buy things, I had to make sure that I had parts and that they'll be here in case, you know, I have to troubleshoot, I need to get replacement parts, all that kind of stuff. So I actually ended up purchasing some things for this build. So the last time we checked in, I believe we actually did go pick up, let me get it here, this Pure Loop all-in-one cooler, to be quiet. Excuse me. So that, you know, we have in our possession. Since then, some crazy things have happened. I've been having a really hard time getting a motherboard and the CPU. So I just went ahead and went out and bought this really cheap combo on Newegg, this B450. That came with this Ryzen 5 5500. Not sure if you guys can see that there. So this was a $100 combo. This is on the AM4 platform. If you don't know a lot about computers, that means it's one generation old, but it still is a pretty capable processor motherboard combo. But we got DDR4, what is it, 2400 megahertz. So it's not like gonna, you know, decrease or increase. I mean, usually I think you want to get like 3200 or 3600, I think, with DDR4. So this is a little bit slower, but I figured for a free PC, this was 20 bucks. You know, why not? So here's where it gets crazy. Having a really hard time getting a graphics card. So I tried to do some research on like what I should purchase because I didn't want to dump a lot of money into this. I did end up purchasing a 1660 Super. You guys can see that here. A Gigabyte 1660 Super. So this is a pretty good card. It was $80. 80 bucks, I'll buy that. Not a big deal. So that puts me at like
$200 so far, I guess, between the graphics card, which is $80, the RAM that's $20, the motherboard, and the CPU. So that's $200. And about 2 hours after I purchased that card, so Caleb was the awesome guy that gave us the all-in-one cooler. Someone reached out to me and said, hey, I have a 3060 Ti Founders Edition. And it was a little sketchy because their profile didn't have any pictures on it. It didn't have like any information really. So I was a little concerned, and they wanted to meet in kind of like a not super public place. Long story short, I ended up meeting this young man that's actually really awesome, very commendable. He's got a bright future ahead of him. He had the card, and again, this isn't like I'm concerned. It's just like anytime. So it was someone on Facebook Marketplace that I found that reached out to me. They reached out to me and said, hey, I'd like to give this to you. And, there's always just a little bit of concern when situations are like, there's not profile history, they haven't purchased anything in the past, they don't have anything on their, like, they didn't have any pictures or anything of them actual selves. So I was like, hey, listen, I'm a little concerned here. I'm just going to be upfront with you. But it ended up being an awesome young man that has got a bright future ahead of him. He probably doesn't want his name shared on here, so I won't. But he came through, and he actually did give us this GeForce 3060 Ti Founders Edition. Let me pull it out of here for you. Which is way superior to the 1660 Super. This thing is so heavy. So he actually gave me this for free. So in this particular build, instead of using the 1660 Super, we're going to put this 3060 Ti in there because it came from a community member that gave it to us for free. So new since you guys have been watching this video, we got this T-Force 512 gigabyte M.2 SSD. We have this really cool case. Now, I went a little concerned. This is like a DIY PC case. I am a little concerned. I did pull it apart from this backside where the cable management is. This is really small and might be difficult to fit all the cables in there. We've also had our 600 watt power supply come in. Quick update. We have assembled everything here. One of the main problems is this graphics card requires what's called like a proprietary 12-pin graphics card supply, and we have an 8, which is actually a 6+2, that does not fit in there. So we're gonna have to order an adapter to get that in there, but I figured I'd give you guys a quick update. It does power on, so it cannot be used yet, but that means we put it together. So very excited. We're gonna have to wait on that adapter, but we should be able to get this up and tested probably within a few days. We're gonna run some games on it. So I hope you guys have been enjoying this so far. I'm excited to put this together, to give it away, and we'll catch you whenever we get that pin. We'll have the whole thing together. We'll have the thing cable managed and looking beautiful. So yeah. All right, so you can see we've got it powered up. We have Black Myth Wukong loaded up. Ignore the entire mess on my desk. I'll give you kind of a whole look of it here. It's a pretty sweet PC. I enjoy it. I think it's gonna run this pretty well. So we're just gonna run through some frames. Oh, cool, it does show the temp on Steam.
Hi, Gopar.
Hi, so you guys hear my daughter here. So we're at 73 FPS. Here's the CPU utilization. You see the monkey game? There's the GPU utilization, the temperature. Wow, this thing's only running at 55 degrees with that thing there. Monkey game. This actually looks really good for a 3060 Ti. The TV. So pretty good. I'm happy. That looks really solid. Right. So again, you can see the numbers up at the top. You can see my mouse hovering up here. Gives you the GPU utilization, the CPU utilization, the temperatures. The temperature is staying really low. Yeah, Spider-Man. We definitely did not need that all-in-one cooler, but it makes the build look pretty sweet. And then, like, if at some point whoever gets this computer decided to upgrade, they could get a faster processor and potentially a better graphics card at some point. What?
My peacock got push a button.
You guys want to see here? What are you saying?
Push a button.
Push a button? What button?
A button.
A button?
Up.
You heard her. The VRAM usage is going over the top, so we'll see what it looks like. But man, we're getting, these graphics are really good for a 3060 Ti. Holy cow. Whee! Woohoo! Not getting any stuttering. CPU and the GPU are both, the CPU actually should be used a lot more heavily than it is. Whee! GPU's not getting pushed all the way, but the VRAM is going over. So we're at like 50, we go from 50 to 80 FPS. Whee! But this looks really good for this PC. Cool. We're in full screen 1080. We probably could go to 1440p if we wanted to try it. We're on low. Wow, it's on low. Far, high, very high, low, high, low, 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 low. Hey, my daughter is grabbing all my stuff and running away. So 53 FPS, the CPU is overutilized. The GPU is getting kind of hot in comparison. Hi. But it's running pretty well. We're a couple minutes out from the actual giveaway itself, but I wanted to go through because this has been a unique opportunity to hear some of the stories of people that like want this computer. And I'm not going to share their full name or picture with them just because, like, you know, I want to make sure that they have their privacy or not just throw all their business out there, but at least give you guys an update of like some of the things I've heard. Kids are homeschooled. They would use it for potentially streaming. As a lifelong disability, they only have, I think it was 25% oxygen or lung capacity. So, you know, they had a computer, it went out, they're needing another one. A lot of people have been wanting to win it and give it to a sibling, to their spouse, to someone else. Research, church-related stuff, college, wanting to be a game designer and develop a community around that. Fashion design, using it to game with their son. That's kind of a cool one. Majoring in cybersecurity, stuck on an old laptop, wanting to upgrade. Their wife, I can appreciate that one. They're going to grad school, and then they're also a mother, so also can appreciate that one. My wife is also a mom. We've got one on the way too, so. 3D printing, outdated, can't afford to upgrade it, but you know, they're not getting great performance out of their current one. Fiance for work in nursing school online, start a streaming career, someone that wants to get into gaming with their brother on a PC, use it for work because the computer they have is not working well. So yeah, I just thought I'd share some of that before we actually end up going live, or not live, but going through and doing the drawing, because that's what we're going to do next. But you know, hearing a lot of these stories, it made me recognize, like, I've been poor my whole life, and you know, just recently started to have some blessing and success in the area of finance. And you know, when you hear the stories of where people are, even like the stories where I was back in the day, it can be really like humbling and kind of just show you that you never know where you could be at or where someone else could be at. So it's just, you know, if you can choose the option to be generous, I would say that's always the way. I mean, my wife is generous with, you know, our family or her family. You know, we always try to give used clothes that we have for our kids away, like that kind of stuff. And, you know, just hearing all these stories, you know, reminds me of where I've been in the past. And it's nice to know that we can have an impact on other people. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do the drawing, announce it, and eventually show the computer going out to the winner. All right, it's officially 5 o'clock. We're gonna draw the winner here. You can sit down there, 5 o'clock. I don't know how quickly this thing is gonna go. There are 49 entrants, so we're gonna click on this and it'll determine the winner. Let's see what it says here. Winner is Kaylani M. Congratulations. I will reach out to you and we'll set this up to coordinate it. Awesome. So here we are. We are meeting with Kaylani today over here. Hi. So here's the computer. Kind of went through all this already, but yeah. So we'll take a look at it, I guess. Throw it in the car, and then I had a couple questions I just wanted to ask her real quick. So I don't know if I'll have to hold this closer to you or not. So there were a couple people that donated some parts to this. What would you like to say to them and kind of their generosity?
I appreciate it very much. Actually, when I first built my first PC, it was all parts given to me by my friends and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool that you guys were able to do that for him, and then in turn, like, give me this gift essentially for Christmas. So that's awesome, and I appreciate it very much.
And as far as like maybe just something to say to the people viewing this, you know, it's going to come out right before Christmas. I think today is, oh geez, you guys, my kid's taking all the cards out of my wallet. You want to get a shot of that? Yep, there we go. That's my daughter you guys have seen in the video so far. So as far as just like, yeah, as far as just like the spirit of Christmas and anything that maybe you can say that like might boost some morale and spirit, is there anything that you have for that?
I know the holidays are tough for some people. The last couple of years, I've lost a lot of significant family members, particularly my grandmother and my dad the last couple of years. So I know it's hard, but things like this and just in general, great people make it a lot easier, a lot more, like, just remember the good stuff, and things like this I've definitely added to the good stuff, so.
Wow, that's awesome, and sorry to hear that.
It happens.
That's challenging to go through. So you've got my wife tearing up over there because she knows what that's like. So, well, great. So the last thing I wanted to ask was, you know, I always am curious because I grew up really poor. I've had a lot of things given to me in the past, and it just kind of changed my heart and maybe the generosity that I went forward with. Do you think that this like might impact how you are moving forward, or, you know, maybe you find more opportunities to give things like that?
For sure. Like, my PC actually went kaput, and I'm in the process of ordering parts to fix it. And this gives me the opportunity to actually give it to my sister, who likes to PC game and stuff too, and is using an ancient laptop right now. So it'll help, like, be able to give something to somebody else in turn. So kind of excited about that.
Awesome. Well, again, congratulations. Thank you for being a part of this, and I hope you enjoy the PC.
Thank you.